To our Glory podcast. So good to be with you. I know it's been a little while since we've been able to do one. Had a lot going on here recently, and so we're glad to be back with you. This is a version of what's happening at Glory, and so occasionally we'll have an episode of this where we just are able to tell a lot of different things that are going on here at our church, and we like to share about different ministry opportunities and just all kinds of different aspects of things that are going on here at Glory Fellowship so that you can be informed. And so that's what this episode is all about, of what's happening at Glory. And so today I have Patty Key with me, so welcome, Patty.
Thank you.
And we're excited about this time of year, and we have Patty on today to talk about several different things. So hope that you can tune in for the entirety of this episode because there's going to be some really great information. One of the things that we're going to be talking about here in just a few minutes will be Operation Thanksgiving that we have each year. And so we'll be getting into that here in just a few minutes. But Patty, just going to kind of jump right into this today. First of all, Patty is one of our original members of Glory Fellowship, been here from the beginning, and if you've watched our previous podcast, especially the one where C.W. McGehee was on with me, and we talked about the history of the church, and we talked about when the group of people got together, and that was in your barn.
It was.
So that's if you saw that podcast and heard C.W. talk about the barn, and you'll hear that kind of occasionally talked about. That's where it was located, at Patty's house. So
Faye Whittemore Farms, which was my parents' the farm, and we had a big open barn, and it was just a last minute decision from like Wednesday night till Sunday. So it took. We all went out there and got it cleaned up and got it ready and had church service on Sunday morning, and it was the most awesome service ever.
Yeah. It's been neat to hear the stories from all of you guys that were a part of that, and it's amazing to think about that and then to look at where the church is now, and you know, it all started with you guys and God working in and through that group of people and giving you guys a vision for the future. And so, you know, now we're seeing all this stuff, you know, come into play. So it's awesome to think about that. But Patty serves in a lot of different areas in our church, and I'm sure throughout the years you've probably served in just about every capacity that you can imagine. But first of all, I want to dive into the kitchen team or hostess team. I know we were talking about earlier that it's actually called several different things, but Patty has served as our over that ministry of the kitchen team, hostess team, for I guess most of the time since the barn. And so I want to jump into that just for a few minutes and just kind of give some details about that particular ministry. So explain exactly what all the kitchen team does.
Okay. We are responsible for Wednesday night supper, and that's where the church feeds the whole congregation that comes on Wednesday night, and sometimes that can be up to 225 people. And we start preparations about noon, and just work all afternoon together and do different kinds of meals. Just make a menu and work on that. And there's a big group of us that can work on Wednesday night, and it just turns out to be a lot of fun and a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's been just, you know, since I've been here and my family's been here at the church, used to be that the dinners were in the fellowship hall. Mm-hmm. And now our congregation has grown to, you know, such a large number, you know, praise the Lord for that now we have to move all the chairs and have it in our worship center.
Exactly.
And so we set up in there and get that going, and it's an awesome thing because it's church wide. It's the youth, it's the kids, it's everybody of all ages being able to fellowship and have a meal together.
And that's the important part, is that we just have such good fellowship on Wednesday
Yes.
night, to be able to get to know each other better and to see people that you normally don't see on Sunday morning.
Right. Well, kind of, along with that, you guys, the kitchen team is responsible. You guys do dinner every night during VBS.
We do. We do the VBS dinner, and we feed the children and the workers.
Yeah, and that's a pretty big number as well. I can't even remember off the top of my head. Do you remember?
It was over 200 children and about 150 adults.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So that's a major undertaking in itself every night, for 4 straight nights
It
of
really
VBS. But again, what an awesome thing that we're able to do here at our church.
Well, when the children see us in other departments, in other parts of our church, they don't really look at us, or if they see us out in Walmart or something, they say, "Oh, that's the kitchen ladies,"
Yeah.
or they work in the kitchen, or they're who feeds us. So
Right.
they look at us with a lot of love, and they
Yeah.
always give us hugs and come by and tells us how much they loved what we've cooked.
Yeah.
So that blesses us also.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, speaking of that, on what you guys cook, they do a phenomenal job with all of our meals. They are so awesome and well thought out, and just I think everybody is very appreciative of that.
Thank you very much. Our whole team enjoys it.
Yeah.
And we have great fellowship in the kitchen, and we have a little slogan that what happens in the kitchen stays in the kitchen, because sometimes we get pretty rowdy.
Yeah.
And it's just really good
Yeah.
love, and we love each other, and
Yeah.
pray for each other. And if something's going on, we kind of got each other's back when we're having problems, and
Right.
we know
Yeah.
what's going on with each other.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, that's what a team is supposed to be. So that's great. And we were talking about earlier. We would love to see some of our younger generation get involved in that. Some of our younger ladies within the church who are interested in trying to get involved, so that at some point the torch can be passed
Exactly.
down. So if you're interested in being a part of our kitchen team, please come see Patty. You can see any of us on the staff, and we can get you directed towards her, and get you plugged in on that as well.
And we would love to have any of our younger girls that maybe you can't be here the whole time, but if you could be here just an hour or two during those prep times, we would love for you to go ahead and come and join us. And we've had girls that come in and even have to bring their children and let them play a little bit in the fellowship hall. And that's just a good learning tool to be here. A few minutes. Even if it's just an hour, we would love to have the younger girls to come on board and join us.
Yeah, that'd be great. A great opportunity to get plugged in and get to know other people in the church if you're looking for a place to serve. Kind of jumping into something else before we get into Operation Thanksgiving. One of the things that the team does is to serve at the Hope House.
Hope House. We serve the fifth Monday, which is 5 times a year is all we do. But we serve the needy out there. We feed about anywhere from 30 to 50 people.
Okay.
And we picked that ministry up about a year ago with Miriam Norrell. And it's just been, it's a blessing to be able to go out to Hope House and carry food and be able to walk around and talk to those people and just be able to share Jesus with them. And we have someone come in and do a short devotion, and then just enjoy talking to them and ministering to them.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's a great opportunity as well.
So anybody that wants to join that, we would love to have you to just come out and join us.
Yes, most definitely. Well, let's go ahead and jump into Operation Thanksgiving, and let's begin to talk about that because that is coming up. Operation Thanksgiving, of course, is on Thanksgiving Day, and that will be at the Jasper Civic Center. and we begin feeding at 11 o'clock. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah. Begin feeding at 11 o'clock, and it's basically from 11 to 1.
Right.
And so we'll talk more about that, but just to kind of give you some info of what we're talking about. Operation Thanksgiving has been around for quite some time now. I'm going to let Patty talk about that. But just a ministry that has been, so important for our church family to be involved in, to be able to, serve the community. And in a time where, we're very thankful for all the things that God has given us. And there are those who, just may not have anybody to have a meal with. And
That's true.
so just all kinds of different ways of serving in that area. But let's just start from the beginning and going back, to the very beginning of when, the idea of Operation Thanksgiving first came about, how it all started. So I'm just going to let you kind of go from there and talk about it.
All righty. Well, I think we figured up it's about been 15 years.
Okay.
Troy and I wanted to serve somewhere for Thanksgiving, and he had went by one of the missions in Birmingham, and they really didn't need our bodies. They just wanted money, and they didn't encourage us at all. And so we kept talking about it, and on that very next Wednesday, we were reading the newspaper, and James Phillips had written an article and was wanting to help people in downtown Jasper area that could not afford a meal on Thanksgiving. And so Troy said, why don't you call him? And that's how we got involved with him, called him and told him that we were interested in helping. And he had lots of good ideas. And that Thanksgiving was going to be at the Rock, the Church of the Rock, which is on Main Street. And so we talked about it, and then we came back on Wednesday night and presented that to the people here at Glory. And we had 7 families that joined us, and we went down and helped him, and we enjoyed it so much. And they had an issue to arise the night before, and so they had to go to the hospital. And he called, and they didn't have enough food prepared, so Troy and I went at 3 o'clock in the morning on Thanksgiving morning to Walmart. Walmart stayed open, all night during that time. And we came to the church with several other members, and we met here and started cooking. And by 9 o'clock, we were ready to transport the food down to the Rock. And we fed 92 people that day, and it was an awesome day. That it was sad to see that many people could not afford a meal, but they were so thankful, and we enjoyed being with them so much. And there was this man that was there. He was an elderly man, and he had the most gorgeous voice, and he sang a cappella several songs for us that morning, and one of them was Amazing Grace, and it brought us all to tears. And it was an amazing day. Yeah. And so we thought, well, this is something we want to continue to do. And so the next year we decided we would have it here at our church building. And I think we were too far from downtown Jasper where people have to walk. And so it didn't turn out as well. So that's when we decided we might try being more centrally located to people that might need help or be in need. And so we moved to the Civic Center, and we're very thankful to the city of Jasper for letting us use that building. And in the past few years, Mayor David O'Meary, he lets us use the building for free, and so that really helps. Man,
that's awesome.
That helps a lot.
Yeah.
That means the world. That's an awesome thing.
Yes.
And so it's just grown over the years from that little group of people, and now we have tons of volunteers. We have other churches involved, so it's grown tremendously in the last 15 years.
Yeah, that's wonderful. It's awesome to look back on something like that and just to be able to look at how God worked through individual people, how this idea came about, and this thing happened or this thing happened that led to something else and led to, and it's just stuff like that. It's awesome to reflect and remember on how God is so good.
Right. And God's hand was in it the whole time.
Yes.
And we know that. And without his provisions, it couldn't have happened. And he opened so many doors for us through other churches. We now have, for years now, probably 10 or 12 years, New Prospect Baptist Church, Farmstead Baptist Church, and the Trace.
Mm-hmm.
They're all involved in Thanksgiving week here with us.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's always an awesome thing when churches can work together like that. As the years went by and it grew over the years as far as the number of people coming and being served. I know over the last few years, last year we served how many plates?
About 1,400.
Yeah, and so it's been growing steadily through the years.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's an amazing thing to be able to help that many people. As far as like the overall concept of it, we are wanting to help people physically and feed them physically. Talk about some of the other ideas behind it as far as being able to have conversations with people and all that type of stuff.
Okay, we have a team what they do on Thanksgiving morning is just go to the into the banquet room where we set up the banquet room and decorate it so it'll be homey and feel like Thanksgiving Day. And what their ministry is just go from table to table, have a cup of coffee, have a dessert, just talk to people and find out what their needs are and what their prayer needs are, what their physical needs are.
Right.
And then after Thanksgiving, we might go back and help those families to pay some bills or to buy some groceries or whatever their need may be.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a awesome thing to see that in person. Just see people just loving on other people, and having those conversations. And you never know. People they just need to know that somebody loves them.
Somebody cares for them.
Somebody cares. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And we all need that. But it's awesome to see that happen during that time. And then I know that at some point, Adam will share the gospel as far as, he'll get the microphone, he'll share the gospel with the whole room. And so we have that aspect of it. So besides right there in the room of the Civic Center, talk about the other areas and the other places that we send plates to.
Okay, we do what we call the jail ministry. We feed all the inmates in Walker County and the city jail, plus all the officers that are on duty. And the inmates are so appreciative. We get lots of letters after Thanksgiving because they've gotten a pretty home-cooked meal for Thanksgiving. And so I know that they're serving time for some reason, but just to know that somebody out there in the world loves them.
That's right.
Loves them anyway. And so that's a good ministry. We really, really love loving on those inmates. They need love too. And then we do all the fire department, all the firemen that's on duty on Thanksgiving Day, and the paramedics that's on duty. The urgent cares, the after-hours clinics. We carry plates, however how many's working. Like at the after-hours, like last year, I think there were 16 on duty. We carried them all plates, and they were so thankful because they work long hours.
Right, they do.
Day.
Yeah, yeah. And it's just you're in the middle of a work day, whether you're a nurse or a firefighter, whatever, you're in the middle of a work day and somebody just brings you a meal. That's just uplifting for somebody just to come do that. So that's great as well.
We just want people to know that we appreciate that they're on duty that day.
Exactly.
Because, that's protecting our community.
That's right.
And our county.
That's right. Okay, so we'll kind of break this down, kind of leading up to the day of Operation Thanksgiving. This coming Sunday, we have our outreach Sunday where we go out and we will take flyers that have all the information about Operation Thanksgiving. We'll take those flyers to different communities around Jasper, Cordova, and some different areas. And so we have, we call that our Outreach Sunday. So kind of explain what happens with all that on that day.
Okay, right after morning service, we will have a light lunch for any volunteers that are willing to go out into the community. We will feed you lunch that day right before we go out, and we'll break up in groups, and Teresa Dutton has it all lined up exactly where we need to go. And so we have all that information, and we will do teams and go to different locations all over the city and give all this information out. We go to the housing projects, the elderly village, anywhere that we think that there may be people that needs a knock on the door, and just say hello and give them this information. And sometimes you might be there a little bit and share Jesus with them that day, and just be able to say hello. A lot of people that comes to the doors haven't seen anybody in a day or two, and so that's just a good day to reach out and love somebody. And so that really gets the information out into the community that we will be at the Civic Center on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah. So that'll happen this Sunday, and and I just quickly a quick story, and I won't say names of places or details or anything, but the first time that my family was involved in this, I went with a group of guys. They said, we're going to Cordova, and I said, okay. And we ended up going to one of the neighborhoods where I lived and grew up in the apartments. And so I was I was pretty emotional when we got there, because I was like, because the little kids were running. I was like, I was that kid, living here, and now here I am coming back, and and so it was. It was pretty emotional, and just a kind of full circle type thing, and just a reminder of, that how God moves in people's lives, and you just never know, because when I was that kid in those apartment complexes, I never knew that God was going to call me into full-time ministry, or what he was going to do in my life, or, any of this stuff. And so anyway, it was kind of a full circle moment for me. But anyway, so then after that, let's kind of go through the rest of the week, next week. So Sunday's Outreach Sunday.
Okay. We need all the volunteers we can get to do that. If you're willing to go out into the community, and that only takes us about 2 hours to hit all of the places that we like to hit. That's about a 2-hour job. So anybody that would be willing to give up 2 hours, and it's also a good learning tool to expose your children, older children, to knocking on doors and talking to people and sharing Jesus.
That's exactly right.
It's just a good ministry to teach your children.
Yeah. Yes, we highly encourage everybody in our church family, that's going to be here in town Sunday. Please come be a part of that. You will not be disappointed
you'll be
in that.
Very blessed.
Yes, you will.
Very blessed at the end of the 2 hours.
Yes, most definitely. So then after that, on Monday, let's talk about what happens on Monday.
Okay, Monday is the big day of cooking chicken and dressing. We'll have some guys that will cook our chicken on late Sunday afternoon, and that's 200 pounds of chicken, so it takes a while. And then we'll be ready on Monday morning, and some of us will be here at 6, and to start the process and to get everything lined up and get everything set up in different stations in the fellowship hall, so that everything's going smoothly.
Yeah.
We set up different stations, and so we need a lot of help that day for food prep, chopping, mixing, crumbling cornbread, taking the broth back and forth, and then we'll bake we'll half bake the dressing and then freeze it for Thursday. And so it's a big day. It's a lot of work. And again, that's a good time for fellowship, and we have a lot of fun.
Yep.
And just a good support time.
Yeah. Well, that's great. So if you're interested in coming and being a part of that, if Monday is a time that you have some time off that you can come work, please do so.
Come about 8 o'clock if you want to spend the day, and if you just got a couple of hours during the day or can be here 1 or 2 hours, just come on and join us, and
That's
then
right.
leave when you need to leave. You know, it's not. We're not going to hold anybody to a specific time. Just come and volunteer the time that you have.
That's right. Okay, and then what happens on Tuesday?
On Tuesday, we'll start baking turkeys really early. We get here about 6, and that's kind of for lack of a better word, we just say hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait, because it takes 3 hours for the first load to come out. And with our big ovens, we can do about 10 or so turkeys at a time. And so we have 3 hours. And then we will start packing in the afternoon. We'll start packing the kitchen as the last rotation of turkeys going through the oven. We'll start packing the kitchen to move, and that's really a big job, because we literally have to take everything that we need down to a spatula or oven mitts, everything. We have to take everything. So we pack it and have it at the back door ready for Wednesday morning. So if if you can come by on Tuesday afternoon, that's great too.
Okay. And then, so that leads us to Wednesday morning. What time Wednesday morning?
We usually start loading the trucks here at 7, and we have so many guys that show up to help us do that doesn't take long.
Right.
And then we're usually sitting at the Civic Center when they open the doors for us at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And that's a big day, because we have to set up chairs, tables, tablecloths. We have to do all the decorating and then get our kitchen ready, and we start some pre-cooking that day. We go ahead and cook some of the food that we send to the jail ministries, because that's 250 servings of food. So there's a group working in the kitchen, a group working in the dining hall, then a group working setting up in the room that we'll do the plates at. So there's lots and lots of jobs on Wednesday. Lots of jobs.
Yeah. So again, any of these days, if that's your only day off, or you have, like Patty said, you have a couple hours here and there on those days, please feel free to come, and we'd love to have you. And you're not obligated to stay to a certain. If you have an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is, that would be great.
On Wednesday, we're usually finished about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
We usually get kind of everything squared away about 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Somewhere around that time.
Yeah. So don't come at 1 or after, so we won't be there. And then on Thursday, of course, is the big day. And that's the day where we do the serving there on Thanksgiving Day. And so let's just talk about kind of how that starts, the time it starts, and everything that leads up to the actual serving.
Okay. There's a team that'll come in about 6 a.m. and they'll start with baking the potato, boiling the potatoes, and get potatoes ready. And then we have warmers that we start putting things in, and everything that has to go through the oven, the turkey, the ham, we warm all this up and put it in warmers. And so that starts about 6, because about 9:30 we start doing the plates that go out from the Civic Center. So if you'd like to come and volunteer for that, you can come early, or if you'd rather wait and come like at 9 o'clock to start serving plates that's going to go out of the building, that would be great. And then at 11 we'll start the serving lines in the banquet room, and we have one person per pan of food, so that they can kind of chat and talk as the people come through the line. And that lasts from 11 to 1.
Okay.
And then there's a lot going on. We give out door prizes. We have sometimes we have some entertainment. We have there's just jobs all over the building at that time. And then at 1 o'clock is the big work starts, because that's when we start cleaning up, and that's when we really need help, because we have to leave the Civic Center as just like we left it. So we've got to wash dishes, clean, load,
put all the tables up.
Put all the tables and chairs up.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, it's the big job.
Yeah.
So if you're like having lunch and can come at 1 o'clock to help us start cleaning up, that would be so very appreciated.
Yes, it would. Yeah. Yeah, it's by the time we get everything unloaded here, it's like everybody's about to collapse.
Yes,
you know?
it is.
So, well, yeah, that's I think you explained all of that, very well. And again, it's just an exciting time in our church family to be able to serve the community. Is there anything that's come to your mind? Are we forgetting anything? Have I forgotten anything that I should have mentioned?
I don't think so. I think we pretty much covered the whole week.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just remember that if you can volunteer anytime, and if you wanted to call me, my number's listed. Call me if you wanted to do a specific job, or if you're interested in something that, or if you have any new ideas. We're always open to new ideas or new ways to do things. So just give us a call. Give any of the team a call. Come by the office and talk to you guys, and we'll all come together. And if we need to do anything different, we'd love to have new ideas.
Yeah,
every
that's
year.
right. Well, again, if you're willing to serve, get in touch with us any of those days, and then we'd love to see you out on Thursday at the Civic Center, and being able to serve that day as well. And then if your schedule doesn't permit you to do that, be praying. We just ask for your prayers, and because this is a lot of moving parts going on here, and we want to serve our community well, and we want the love of Jesus to be shown in our community, and we want people to hear about the love of Christ, and that Jesus loves them as well. So we want everybody to be able to hear that. And Patty,
can I think? I thought was something.
Yeah,
else.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. It's not only people that are in need or that can't afford a Thanksgiving meal. It's for anybody. I know we have just another little thing that I remember so well. There's a family that their parents had passed away here, that they are originally from Jasper. Their parents had passed away, but their children still wanted to come back to Jasper on Thanksgiving weekend. And they had done that a couple of years, and of course, if their parents' home was no longer available, so they were looking for a place. They didn't want to go to a restaurant, so they came to Operation Thanksgiving and had their meal, had their time together. They all sat around one table, and they just enjoyed themselves, and then they got up and worked and helped us clean up.
Oh, yeah.
So it's for anybody that that's lonely, or don't have anybody to have Thanksgiving with, or just wants to share Thanksgiving with somebody. It doesn't have to be.
Right.
We don't ask a question. It's just, we're just there to love on people, and to teach a little bit of Jesus, and to share Jesus with people. And so this family comes back every year now, and they help clean up, and we love them for it. We're excited to see them every year. And there's several elderly ladies that come every year, and they get to, we can't wait to give them a hug and love on them, and talk to them, and see how their year has been, and how their children are, and how many greats and things like that. They just love sharing with us. And so my point is that anybody can come and join us.
That's right.
We would love for anybody. It doesn't have to be for any reason, because we don't ask those questions. We just want everybody to be together, happy, and fellowshipping together.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's a great point. Well, Patty, we're going to close this up, and just want to tell you that we love you, and appreciate all the years of you serving, not just Operation Thanksgiving, but our church and what all you do for our church, and how much you mean to everybody and the impact you've had on so many people. And
thank you.
So, and including my family. So,
well, thank you very much. I love my church. I love my church family, and that's what we are as a family.
Yes, we are.
We're a church family. When Troy's accident happened, and I needed my church family. Mm-hmm. All you guys were there for me. I mean, the days that we spent at the hospital, I always knew that there was somebody there waiting for me and praying for me and Troy, and I appreciated that very much, and that's just the point that we are family here at Glory Fellowship, and we'd love to have anyone to join us and be part of this family.
That's right. Yep, that is right. Well, we thank you for joining us today, and hope that you have been able to hear all this information, and that you can be a part of what we're talking about here. And so again, we'll continue to have these podcasts. Sometimes you'll see Adam and me on here talking about his previous sermon. Sometimes we'll have different folks from the church that'll be talking about different ministries throughout the church and what's happening at Glory. So we just encourage you to continue to tune in and watch these podcasts, and hopefully you'll be able to glean some information from them. So thanks so much.